meeting to order at 6:39. As you all know, I have one motion this evening that I did not bring out last week because I did have an invited guest for this week. But before I ask Superintendent of Public Works, Michael Tyler, to come up, I just want to remind voters to get out there because you still have until 8 o'clock to get out and vote. And obviously, it's very, very important this evening. We have 2 ballots that need to be cast, and your vote really does count. I had the pleasure on the way in to stop at La Salette, where I vote, in 4B, and I could not believe there was a line. Like, there was a line of voters, and I drove by there, and I want to tell you, 6 times today, and it was kind of slow, and I was kind of worried. I'm like, the newspaper can't be right today. They just can't be right. We got to have, like, a good turnout. And I was pleasantly surprised to be standing in line. And then there was a gentleman, and I've never had this experience before. In all the years I voted, there's a gentleman holding the folders that you turn in after you cast your ballots. He was standing waiting to grab your folder, and he was like telling you, okay, because the line was so long, he's like, all right, so you're 4B, are you in the S, are you before the S's, and just guided you along. So it was a really good experience. So get out there and vote, everybody, because it really counts tonight. 8 o'clock, polls close. We'll have results very shortly after, I'm sure. So I do have a motion before me this evening regarding another culvert on Pike Avenue. And Michael, if you wouldn't mind coming up to the podium, that'd be great. So Superintendent of Public Works, Michael Tyler, is here this evening to just let us know how that culvert came into having issues around the same time that Wilmot Street culvert had. I mean, because of the storms that we had. And I think one of the biggest concerns that us as a council is very concerned about is that we don't want to run into the same problem as we did on Wilmot Street, as I'm sure you and your crew do not want to happen as well. Because we don't want to lose a road again and be cut off and have it cost us astronomical money. But because we're well ahead of it, even though we kind of were ahead of it before, but we just didn't jump on it. Not that we didn't jump on it, but can you just talk about that?
Sure.
Thank you.
On the same night that we lost Wilmot Street culvert, we had employees all over the city looking to see if there's any of the trouble areas. And we have a couple spots like Collins Street and stuff like that down near the river that are prone to flooding, so we try to go down there and make sure we're watching those areas with our pumps. But we didn't have any other area affected except Pike Ave and Wilmot Street. When Wilmot Street, after we lost, we took a ride over Pike Ave, and it's about in the area of 924 Pike Ave, which is towards the Wilmot Street side, if you will. It does run into Chapley Brook, the same as Wilmot. And all the rest do, and finally ends up down at Peckham Street. But when we arrived in that area, the road was flooded out probably, I'm going to say 35 feet by 5 to 6 inches deep of water. So the whole culvert was underwater at that time. The thing that kind of struck me is the grounds that lead to this culvert can hold it's a large wetland. It can hold a large capacity of water. And the house's backyard kind of go quite at an angle to that. It was probably within, I'm going to say, 1.5 inches of flooding the yards out. So that's when we were really monitoring it and watching to see what was going on. It did not recede until, I'm going to say, 2.5, 3 weeks after the fact. It did go below the road, but it still filled that area. So it's a lot of concern over there because of the 2 households that are right on the back of that water. And even today, when we went to go there to take a couple of pictures that I'm willing to show you, it's still running at full capacity. So we really haven't had a lot of rain lately, so most of our stuff right now is probably running between 1/2 and 3/4. So to see this inlet side still underwater is very concerning. Upon further review, it's actually just a 15-inch diameter cast iron pipe. And that's not a lot of capacity for that area. So I went down there with the conservation agent, Nick. We looked at it. We're trying to come up with some type of plan to replace this. It obviously cannot handle the water that did. So I just want to step back 1 minute on that. We were asked, all department heads during Winter Storm Riley, for 3 things: our overtime costs, our actual materials costs that we had to use during that storm, and anticipated things. So this, I just wanted everybody to know, Pike Ave is anticipated because we couldn't see it. It was completely underwater. So it falls in that category. After reviewing it today and looking at it, we could definitely do this job in-house and save a lot of money from what the original estimate. The original estimate, I believe, was like $14,950. We would not have to get an excavator out of place. We could do this with our long reach backhoe. So I just need to come up with some type of plan with the conservation agent of what they're going to need for sizing. If 15 inches is not going to cut it right now, we know that. But conservation and everybody else has concerns about, you can't just go in there and throw a 30-inch pipe, because now you've affected downstream as well. So we're trying to work on what sizing would actually work on that without bringing it into what I like to call the big engineering stage. If we had to do something like that, they have to do it like for 1 year, and it's a very expensive, time-consuming.
So you're, Mike, so from what I'm getting, so you're, because we had Fisk Excavating come in and take care of Wilmot Street, I think that's what, I'm guessing that's what we're all thinking about, is like, that was huge, huge. So you're looking to avoid that by fixing it ourselves in-house.
That's correct.
But making it a permanent fix, but
yes,
doing it ourselves.
Well, and if you have a plan going into it and you attack it before, what happened at Wilmot Street is we completely lost it. So we were there for 1 day just doing cleanup work in the river area and everything else. So this one, we would be avoiding that. We would have to shut down the road, but probably, I'm gonna guess, maybe 4 or 5 hours, something like that at the most. So it would be open the same day compared to that where we lost that for a couple weeks, if not longer. So that's a situation that we don't want to get into. Wilmot Street, it was shaky for a while there. Mother Nature said, I'll take care of that for you.
And he did.
So we don't want that to happen here. Again, just like you pointed out, we don't want that. That's called the country up there. And for good reason, because there's not too many roads in and out of it. So we don't want to have this situation come back like that.
Mike, what causes, I shouldn't ask the question that way, but all of a sudden, now we're having like these big flooding issues. Is it because Mother Nature is your guess, like Mother Nature's angry at us, or it's just because everything's so old, and so we're just
I have my theories on that, yes.
Please share.
Well, if you remember years ago, anybody that's been in this business, years ago, they used to have, especially you call Bristol County Mosquito Control, and they had these machines that were actually almost on pontoons, and they would go through and dredge all the wetland areas out, the streams and stuff like that. Because of outside forces, if you will, they stopped those programs. So this stuff is getting overgrown to the point where it's bottlenecked. It has no place. That's my personal opinion of it. How many trees actually have we seen on the side of the roads that are still present? Can you imagine how many is actually lying out in those drainage areas right now that we have no clue about? So again, that bottlenecks everything up. That's my opinion of that, and I would say it's pretty accurate.
So it's strangling everything.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Any questions from any counselors? No? Could you share the pictures that you have that you were taken? Thank you very much.
I apologize for the first one because it's not. It was taken at, I think, a little after midnight. So I just want everybody to have an idea. That's a terrible picture there, but I'm straggling. You'll see where the road is flooded out right next to the metal guardrail.
I like the little guy right here.
Yeah.
Where's Waldo?
There.
Again, Councilor Jackson, I'm just trying to show the area where it is, and if you go by on a normal day, everything looks so calm, and it doesn't look like there's any situation, so people be hard to believe. It's like, you tell them the thing was completely, and it was.
And I think thank you very much. I think the shock of it was when it came down in the mayor's communication, there had been no discussion. Everybody was talking about Wilmot Street because, it was washed out and because we had to pay a lot of overtime. So I think when Pike Ave actually came down, we all kind of looked at each other like, there's another one? What's happening? We hadn't heard about it. So I appreciate you being here this evening to describe everything that's happened. President Cooper.
Thank you. So, Mike, with the Wilmot Street culvert replacement, there was sort of this question of was it an emergency when it was first sort of discovered that the culvert was failing. And I think, what I think I heard you say is that the difference between this and that is that that one had collapsed. Wilmot Street, when you initially looked at it, was degraded and collapsed, versus this one that you don't think is, right? Pike Ave is not internally collapsed and so depressed, but it's failing because the water's not getting through. So something clearly is wrong with it, whether it's size, capacity, or what have you. But I just want to make that distinction so that, you know, if we did get a large rain event, you know, all bets are off. We could be in the same sort of situation, but it seems to me that the Wilmot Street one at the time was worse than what Pike Ave was or even is today.
That's absolutely correct, President Cooper. I mean, Wilmot Street culvert was like a 30-inch corrugated metal culvert that had rotted right along the water line. And very common for those pipes. They're about 55, 60 years old. This is an actual cast iron pipe, so you wouldn't have that type of effect. The only thing that you would have is if the water built up so much on the inlet side, what it does is it gets in between the head wall rocks and it just slowly starts pushing the top of the cover, if you will, of the pipe completely off. So that's what we'd like to, we don't want it to get to that stage, but not even close to Wilmot.
Okay, great, thank you. Thank you, Kate.
Councilor Dolan.
So what will we do in Pike Ave different? Are we going larger pipe, different material to avoid this, or is it just inevitable because of the
I'd like to say
overgrowth?
larger pipes, but the situation you have, especially in Attleboro, is we have water and gas. So we have to get that pipe under those. And while you're still getting it under it, you still have to reach you can't really change the inlet side, the elevation of that by conservation rules. So that's where you're kind of stuck. I mean, how much room do you have under the water main? And the gas, usually the gas is higher. But
And you don't know that because you said you were going to talk
we would have to do a test bore to find out exactly how deep that water main is under there. Most of them, I'm going to say they're about 3 feet down. So again, now your diameter, you would love to stick a nice 30-inch pipe in there.
Right.
And be done with it, but it just doesn't work that way.
What would the material be, metal, or like you said, this one's cast iron?
Everything now is what they call ADS plastic pipe. It's double wall. It doesn't require a lot of cover over the top of it, which is one good thing about it. And they're made to last forever.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions, concerns? Thank you. Well, thank you, Superintendent Tyler. Appreciate you being here this evening. Did we get his pictures back to him? His photographs? Thank you. Thank you very much for being here this evening. I appreciate it. We'll bring this out this evening to appropriate these funds.
You're more than welcome. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Oh,
Would you like to keep these as part of your minutes for this?
I think I'll get a copy from him. Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate it. So I'm going to read my motion. I entertain the motion to approve the request of the mayor to appropriate $46,859.32 from Fund 8455-397000 Stabilization Fund, other financing uses to account 1000-392000, General Fund, other financing sources to fund the following accounts relative to the Pike Ave culvert repairs. 1291100-513000, emergency management overtime, $7,652.32, because $2,200 has already been appropriated, and from account 1291100-553010, emergency management street maintenance supplies, $2,200, and one from account 1291100-553020, emergency management safety sign supplies, $5,557, and from account 1291100-524029, emergency management street repair, $16,500.
Second.
Thank you very much for that second. Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is approved. All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. We are approved. I would ask for an adjournment at 6:54 on this fine Tuesday evening, April the 3rd.
Second.
Thank you. We are adjourned. I'm leaving here at 8 o'clock.
This meeting of the Municipal Council will come to order at 7:01. Please join me in a salute to our flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just a reminder to put your phones in airplane mode, as it does interfere with the broadcast. And I would entertain a motion to approve the records of February 6th, 2018.
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Aye, thank you, motion passes. I'd entertain a motion to approve the records of March 1st, 2018.
Second?
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you, motion passes. We are going to, I would entertain a motion to suspend the rules.
Second?
Thank you. We are suspending the rules so that we can take the motions out of order. We'll begin this evening with Councilor Hall. Any discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. The rules are suspended. There are no joint public hearings. There's no continued public hearings. We will go right on to the reading of the mayor's communication.
April 3rd, 2018. Dear Municipal Councilors, I respectfully submit a communication from Library Director Joan Pilkington Smith regarding the need for funds to upgrade the outside security camera at the Attleboro Public Library. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $1,743.41 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Library Supplies of Equipment. Upon approval, the available balance in Reserve Fund for transfer will be $208,014.04. Copies in your packets.
City property and claims, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Veterans Agents Ken Batcheter regarding the donation of $40 in Stop and Shop gift certificates from Lori Scales. This donation was given in honor of Gus's random act of kindness to celebrate World Down Syndrome Day, March 21st. In accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to accept these generous donations to the City of Attleboro. Copies in your packets.
City property and claims, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from City Treasurer Laura Gignac regarding the need for funds to pay the med tax for non-school and non-enterprise employees. A review of the med tax account reveals additional funding will be required to cover the anticipated expenses for the remainder of fiscal year 2018. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $20,000 from Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Treasurer Medicare tax. Upon approval, the available balance in the Reserve Fund for transfer will be $188,014.04. Copies in your packets.
Personnel and Human Services Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Public Works Michael Tyler regarding the need for funds for approximately 38 road trench repairs due to recent water breaks and other patchwork throughout the city. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $23,012 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to the following: $16,532 to account Public Works Street Maintenance, and $6,480 to account Public Works Professional Services. Upon approval, the available balance in the Reserve Fund for transfer will be $165,002.04. Copies in your packets.
Public Works, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Building Commissioner William McDonough regarding the need for funds to cover the cost of overtime due to an unexpected leave of absence for one of the local inspectors. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $6,000 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Protective Inspection Overtime. Upon approval, the available balance in the Reserve Fund for transfer will be $159,002.04. Copies in your packets.
Personnel and Human Services, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Acting Water Superintendent Courtney Winchell regarding the need for funds to install a new 6-inch water main on High Street. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $38,177 from account Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings to account Water Enterprise Fund main construction. Copies in your packets.
Public Works, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Veterans Agents Ken Batcheter regarding the donation of $1,000 in Stop and Shop gift certificates from the Attleboro Elks Lodge, number 1014. In accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to accept these generous donations to the City of Attleboro. Copies in your packets.
City Property and Claims Committee, please.
I respectfully submit to your honorable body the city's capital improvement program for fiscal year 2019 to 2023. We look forward to working working with the municipal council in the coming weeks to review the data submitted. Furthermore, I hereby request your honorable body to hold a public hearing at the appropriate time. Copies in your packets.
Thank you. Capital improvements in city development, please. Councilor Conti, would you like to hold a public hearing on April 17th, 2018?
Yes, please make it so.
Thank you. Motion is in order. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. So we will have a capital improvements, city development, no, I'm sorry. Yes, capital improvements plan, public hearing on 4/17. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I respectfully request your honorable body schedule a date for a presentation to be made by the DEP in Engineering and Management Services concerning the capping of the Attleboro landfill.
Zoning and land use, please.
I respectfully submit for confirmation by your honorable body the appointment of the following candidates to serve on the Council on Human Rights. Copies in your packets. First one is Tom O'Grady of 21 Sherwood Road. It's a term of 2 years to expire in February 2020. And the next one is Ty Waterman of 33 Dorchester Avenue for a 1-year term to expire February 2019.
Personnel and Human Services Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Fire Chief Scott LaChance regarding the need to surplus 4 obsolete LifePak 500 Physio Biphastic Automatic External Defibrillators, or AEDs, that were removed from service and replaced with new AEDs several years ago. The fire department would like to donate these AEDs to the Freiburg Rescue Service, as they can still benefit from using this equipment. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body to declare the automatic external defibrillators as surplus and available for disposition. Copies in your packets.
City Property and Claims Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from City Auditor Deborah Gould regarding funds needed for salary and wages in the auditing/accounting department. After consultation with the personnel director, one of the senior clerical positions is being changed on an administrative clerk's position. This promotional change necessitates additional funding. Furthermore, it was discovered an employee's longevity payment that is due in June 2018 was inadvertently excluded from the fiscal year 18 budget. Lastly, a member of the accounting staff has a circumstance which may necessitate extended absence. While the opportunity to utilize compensatory time may be available, it may be necessary to require overtime of employees to complete essential tasks. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $2,483.48 from account audit services to the following accounts: $483.48 to account auditing salary, $500 to auditing longevity, and $1,500 to auditing overtime. Copies in your packets.
Personnel and Human Services Committee, please.
Sincerely, Paul Heroux, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay. So, point of order.
A point of order, President Cooper.
Thank you. What's the point of order?
The point of order is we needed to actually take a roll call vote to suspend the rules as opposed to a voice vote. So if we could retake the vote, that would be terrific.
So I would entertain a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Thank you. Again, we are suspending the rules so that we can start with my right rather than my left this evening. And I was too quick to call for a voice vote. This requires a roll call vote. The vote will begin to my left with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Mr. Kobus?
Yes.
Vice President Parika?
Yes.
Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Hall?
Yes.
President Cooper?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes, and thank you, Councilor Parika, for bringing that to for us going. Oops. Thank you. We'll move right along to other communications. Thank you.
Okay, communications from the meeting of April 3rd, 2018. The first one is an application for hawkers and peddlers license from Robert S. Pelagi Brothers.
License Committee, please.
We received an application for Ring a Bell from Robert S. Pelagi Brothers.
License Committee, please.
We received an application for hawkers and peddlers license from Adam D. Pelagi Brothers.
License Committee, please.
We received a communication dated March 27, 2018 from resident Phyllis Carter of West Street addressing speed limit enforcement and alternatives.
Transportation and Traffic, please.
We also received an application for hawkers and peddlers license from Paul Piatelli with Dell's Lemonade.
License Committee, please.
We received an application for a Ring a Bell license from Paul Piatelli with Dell's Lemonade.
Again, License Committee, please.
We received a communication dated March 28, 2018 from City Auditor Deborah Gould submitting a request for determination for disclosure by non-elected municipal employee forum.
Personnel and Human Services Committee, please.
We got a communication dated March 21st, 2018 from Attorney John Jacoby III requesting a letter of non-opposition for his client, Leonard J. Irving Center, Inc., to operate a registered marijuana dispensary at 0 Frank Mossberg Drive.
The Zoning and Land Use Committee, please.
We received a joint petition from National Grid and Verizon requesting permission to erect and maintain poles and wires at the north side of 4969 Maple Street. This request requires a public hearing. Call for a public hearing on May 1st, 2018.
Thank you. That'll be referred to Public Works. Ms. Council Jackson, would you like to hold a public hearing on May 1st, 2018?
President Cooper?
Yes.
I would like to hold a public hearing, but just as a disclosure, I won't be here on May 1st.
Okay.
So we could still have the public hearing, but as long as Vice President Parika, who is my co-chair, if you can host it, that would be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Perfect. All those in favor of the public hearing on May 1st? Aye. Thank you. Motion passes.
And we also received another joint petition from National Grid and Verizon requesting permission to erect and maintain poles and wires at the east side of 3445 Hickory Road. This request requires a public hearing, and I'll stop there.
Thank you. Again, Council Jackson, would you like to hold a public hearing on May 1st, 2018?
We would love to host a public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
And that ends the other communications.
Thank you. And move right on to Committee of the Whole first.
Excuse me, point of order.
Yes.
Mr. President. Since we are in suspended rules,
Yeah.
could we go into our motions first before we do Committee of the Whole in case it gets too lengthy on such a, fantastic evening of elections?
Thank you. Yes, and we will begin with Councilor Hall.
Why, thank you, President.
Hang on a minute.
All right. So, ordinance, elections, and legislative matters from the docket of March 20th, 2018. I have one motion. I move to approve the request of the mayor to petition the general court to enact special legislation relative to polling places in the city of Attleboro. The special legislation is necessary as the proposed relocations would be to a non-adjacent polling places and may be needed for special elections after April 3rd, 2018 as follows. Would you like me to continue to read that?
I think you probably should if you don't mind.
Okay, nope, not a problem. An act relative to polling places in the city of Attleboro, be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives and General Court assembled, and by the authority of the same as follows. Section 1, notwithstanding Section 24 of Chapter 54 of the General Laws or any other general or special law to the contrary, the Board of Election Commissioners in the city of Attleboro shall designate the polling place for each voting precinct in the city of Attleboro and shall cause each polling place to be suitably fitted up and prepared. The Board of Election Commissioners shall locate the polling place in a public, orderly, and convenient portion of the precinct, provided, however, that if the Board of Election Commissioners determines that the public convenience would be better served, it may designate a polling place in an adjacent or non-adjacent precinct of the city. Section 2, this act shall take effect upon its passage.
Second.
Thank you. So we had Mr. Spatcher from the Elections Office come in and speak to this. It's in order to even get this started, we have to enact this legislation. So that's what we're going to start, and then the details, I guess, will come afterwards. Is what?
Yeah. Any other questions, Councilor Baker?
Thank you, President Cooper. So I will be supporting this to get the ball rolling. I think it's important. I received a couple of phone calls about this. I also spoke with several members of the school committee after they either read what was in the newspaper or watched the committee meeting from last week. I think it's important for us here as well as the public to understand that the school is more than willing to entertain a discussion. They would like to be able to plan appropriately, and George Spatcher said those kinds of things, so that they can either suspend school for the day, they can plan a PD day for the teachers, or things like that. But they are more than willing to entertain this discussion to be able to utilize Coelho. And I think they were Ward 1 constituents who reached out to myself, and I did actually have a conversation with Councilor Reynolds about this as well. It's really important for them to keep. They would far prefer to keep a polling location in South Attleboro than have it move anyplace else. I enjoyed the discussion about the consolidation. It saves a lot of money. It has the potential of saving some money for the community. But those were just two little topics that I thought were important. I can't speak tonight. That are important to address, so that again, the school committee is more than willing to entertain that discussion, and I look forward to the election commission doing that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and the vote will begin with Council Hall.
Ms. Hall.
Yes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan.
Yes.
Mr. Delisio.
Yes.
Vice President Perica.
Yes.
Mr. Kobus.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Yes, thank you. That concludes the Ordinance and Elections Legislative Matters Committee, and I'd like to call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Council Holmes.
Reporting for Personnel and Human Service Committee. I only have 7 motions. So from the docket of April 3rd, 2018, I move to approve the request of the mayor to confirm the following reappointments to the positions for the terms as indicated. Nari Castellorius, the Attleboro Housing Authority, 5-year term to expire February 2023. Catherine Merkel, Personnel Board, 3-year term to expire February 2021. Kira Davis, Youth Commission, 2-year term to expire February 2020. Alexandra Sawyer, Youth Commission, 2-year term to expire February 2020. Ryan Delisio, Youth Commission, 2-year term to expire February 2020. Sarah Ribeiro, Youth Commission, 2-year term to expire February 2020. Donovan Riley, Youth Commission, 2-year term to expire February 2020. Kent Richards, Zoning Board of Appeals, 3-year term to expire February 2021. Sandra Vieira, thank you. Zoning Board of Appeals, Associate, 2-year term to expire February 2020. Mahesh Patel, Board of Library Trustees, it's a 3-year term to expire February 2021. Linda Binns, Board of Library Trustees, 3-year term to expire February 2021. Eileen Straminsky, Board of Library Trustees, 3-year term to expire February 2021. Paul Denisi, Planning Board, 5-year term to expire February 2023. Brenda Haskell, Traffic Study Commission, 3-year term to expire February 2021. Gregory Ilkowitz, Traffic Study Commission, 3-year term to expire February 2021. Ben Kuto, the Cultural Council, term to expire, or a 2-year term to expire February 2020. Kristen Melhort, Cultural Council, term to expire, 3-year term to expire February 2021. And Diane Keene, Cultural Council, 3-year term to expire February 2021.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Council Holmes.
They're all reappointments, but I actually do have the members in the Cultural Council joining us April 17th, so they will be here, but everybody else is just being reappointed, and we're really excited that they want to be involved in this with the city.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a voice vote. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. The second motion I have tonight is I move to approve the request of the mayor to confirm the appointment of Duff White, 12 Carnegie Way, to fulfill an unexpired term for the Board of Police Commissioners, term to expire February 2021.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Council Holmes.
Since this is a new appointment, I did invite Mr. White to join us on April 17th, just so he could meet some of the people who are new, but I don't want to hold up anything if we don't need to, so.
Perfect. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
So that's 9 yeas, 1 nay.
Who was nay?
Conti?
Okay. No, it's 8 yeas, 1 nay.
8, I'm sorry, yes. Motion passes.
I move to approve the request of the mayor. Is it okay?
Yes, go ahead, Councilor.
I move to approve the request of the mayor to confirm the appointment of Lee Gazal of 104 Oak Hill Avenue to fill an expired term for the Park Commission, term to expire February 2023.
Second?
Thank you. Motion is in order. Council Holmes.
I also invited Lee to join us on April 17th to just meet some of the council members. And I think she's well known, though. Councilor Conti had mentioned that he knows her well. So, but again, I don't want to hold up anything if we don't need to.
Great. Any other comments? Hearing none, this requires a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. Council Holmes.
I move to approve the request of the mayor to confirm the following reappointments to positions for terms as indicated. Randall Vinson, alternate Inspector of Wiring, 1-year term, February 2019. LeBron O'Brien, Assistant Inspector of Wiring, 1-year term to expire February 2019. Dorothy Brinsett, Community Development Director, 2-year term to expire February 2020. Ken Bradiger, thank you. Director of Veteran Services, Veteran Agent, Veteran Burial Agent, 1-year term to expire February 2020. Scott LaChance Forrest Warren, 1-year term to expire February 2019. Christopher Quinn, Health Officer, 1-year term to expire February 2019. Brian Germain, Inspector of Gas Piping and Gas, 3-year term to expire February 2021. Kyle Hegney, Lockup Keeper, 1-year term to expire February 2019. Catherine Rigo, Parking Administrator, 1-year term to expire February 2019. And Owen Bibo, Personnel Director, 3-year term to expire February 2021.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Council Holmes.
Just reappointments of all the individuals and just thanking them for being involved in the city. No real comments.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I move to approve the request of the mayor to confirm the following reappointments to positions for terms as indicated. Terrence McCrossan, Constable, 1-year term, February 2019. Tony Viveros, Constable, 1-year term, February 2019. Elena Clark, Council on Aging, 4-year term, February 2022. Kurt Wheaton, Council on Aging, 4-year term, February 2022. John Leopard, Council on Aging, 4-year term, February 2022. Phil Audette, Veteran Graves Officer, 1-year term to expire February 2019. David Wood, Licensing Board, 6-year term to expire February 2024. Scott Jones, Christopher Stoves, Solid Waste Advisory Committee, 3-year term to expire February 2021. Scott Jones, Solid Waste Advisory Committee, 3-year term to expire February 2021. George Spatcher, Election Commission, 4-year term to expire February 2022. Milton Knox, Board of Fire Commissioners, a 3-year term to expire February 2021. Lynn Menendez, Board of Recreation Commissioners, 3-year term to expire February 2021. And Leo Johnson, Board of Recreation Commissioners, 3-year term to expire February 2021.
Second?
Thank you.
Thank you. After Mr. Spatcher was here, I had a conversation with him the next day, and I actually had his sister as a teacher, and the Spatcher family has, I know they're all retired, but they gave over 100 years of teaching to Attleboro. It was really kind of an interesting conversation I had with him, so that's the only comment I have. So it's great to have people who are so involved, like I keep mentioning.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes.
Okay. I move to approve the request of the mayor to confirm the following appointments for a 1-year term. Lauren Galvin, City Solicitor, 1-year term to expire February 2019.
Second?
Thank you. Motion's in order.
So this is just a 1-year term. Lauren was involved with the orientation process, and she seems to be really responsive. I don't really have any other comments besides that.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, this requires a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. Nay.
8 to 1. Conti. Motion passes.
Mr. President, I wish to be excused for the next vote.
Yes, sir.
I move to approve the request of the mayor to confirm the following appointment for a 3-year term. Martha Conti, Trust Fund Commissioner, 3-year term to expire February 2021.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion's in order.
So again, just really, I know I kind of go through the names really quickly, but it is great to have people who want to be involved in the city. I'm just happy to have them here.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
That's 7 to 1, right?
7 to 1, yep.
Sounds like the Red Sox.
Thank you. Motion passes.
That concludes the business for Personnel and Human Services Committee, and I'll call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you.
Excellent job.
Very good job.
Yeah, that was big. Councilor Dolan.
This committee has nothing this evening, but I'd like to call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time, please.
Great, thank you. Councilor
No
Delesio.
business for budget and appropriations, but also like to call for a meeting at the next appropriate time, please.
Great, thank you. Councilor Parika.
Thank you, President Cooper. Reporting for traffic and transportation, I have one motion for this evening from the docket of March 6, 2018. I move to strike the following item from the docket of March 6, 2018, to install a no parking here to corner sign on Pine Road at Washington Street.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Councilor Parika.
As I discussed last week in committee, this circumstance has been resolved, so I don't need it on my docket anymore.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes the business for traffic and transportation for this evening, and I call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Kovas.
I don't have any business for the Zoning and Land Use Committee, but I'd like to call for a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Great. Thank you. Councilor Conti.
Thank you, Mr. President. Reporting for the Capital Improvement City Development Committee from the docket of April 3rd, 2018. I move to approve the request of the mayor to hold a public hearing on April 17, 2018, relative to the administration's proposed program year 2018 Community Development Block Grant Entitlement Budget for the CDBG Entitlement Year July 1, 2018 through June 30, 2019, the proposed program year 2018 Annual Action Plan, and to request of the mayor on behalf of the City of Attleboro be authorized to submit the request to the mayor on behalf of the City of Attleboro, be authorized to submit to the Department of Housing and Urban Development the proposed CDBG budget and proposed activities to be undertaken during the upcoming CDBG entitlement year.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Councilor Conti.
I have no comments.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a voice vote. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes.
Mr. President, that concludes the Business Capital Improvement City Development Committee has to bring before the council. I would like to inform the council that next Saturday at 9 o'clock we will be at the Sanford Street Parking Garage. I'm waiting for confirmation from Barry Lacasse. We can be there regardless whether or not he's there. Same with Paula Rue at the Academy Building at 10 o'clock. So still waiting for confirmation from the fire department in the following week, but I'm sure they'll get back to me.
Great.
And that concludes the business we have for the council. We look forward for a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Jackson.
Thank you very much, President Cooper. Reporting for Public Works Committee, I have 3 motions this evening. From the docket of April 3rd, 2018, I move to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $20,000 from account 6100-578300 Water Enterprise Fund Reserve Fund for transfer to account 6100-553181 Water Enterprise Fund Treatment Plant Supplies regarding the need to purchase materials for the remaining raw water pump rehabilitation and for purchases related to the maintenance of the treatment plants for the remainder of the fiscal year.
Second.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Councilor Jackson.
No, I actually had comments last week. We discussed it, and I know that some of you were able to follow the schedule for Saturday, as I told Councilor Conti. I had tried, people who I had their cell phone numbers, I tried to get there Saturday morning, but it was harder to find you than it was finding my grandchildren's Easter egg hunt, all their eggs, because I went all over the place and I kept missing everybody. But now I have the new schedule since I just got it yesterday. But anyways, I discussed everything in committee, and I'm sure you all got a great tour of, yes, and isn't it an eye-opener?
May I say something? Or?
Yeah, are you all?
I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Councilor
It was
Dolan.
great. Nerd alert. It was like, it was great. And I want to thank Council Conti for setting this up, because I felt like a little kid. I was like, you turn on your water and you brush your teeth and you shut it off, and they were so accommodating and they're so smart. I mean, not that I didn't expect them to be, but just the level of just everything. It was unbelievable.
Takes a lot.
It was great.
Doesn't
I'd
it?
like to go back.
You can go back anytime.
It was just so informative, and Courtney and Tom, they were like super accommodating. It was really good. I'm really glad I went. Thank
Any
you.
other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote. The vote will begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Mr. Kobus?
Yes.
Vice President Parika?
Yes.
Mr. DeLisio?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
President Cooper?
Yes.
9 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of April 3rd, 2018, I move to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $15,000 from account 6000-578300 wastewater enterprise fund reserve fund for transfer to account 6000-524240 wastewater enterprise fund equipment maintenance regarding the need for funds to repair a filter press feed pump.
Second?
Thank you.
Thank you, motion is in order. Councilor Jackson.
No other comments this evening. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote. The vote will begin with Councilor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. DeLisio?
Yes.
Vice President Parika?
Yes.
Mr. Kobus?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Cooper?
Yes.
9 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of April 3rd, 2018, I move to approve the request of the mayor to appropriate $46,859.32 from Fund 8455-397000 Stabilization Fund, other financing uses account, to account 1000-392000, General Fund, other financing sources, to fund the following accounts. Account 1291100-51300, Emergency Management Overtime, $7,652.32. Account 1291100-553010, Emergency Management Street Maintenance Supplies, $2,200. Account 1291100-553020, Emergency Management Safety Sign Supplies, $5,557. From account 1291100-524029, Emergency Management Street Repair, $16,500. And account 1291100-584034, Emergency Management Pike Ave Culvert, $14,950.
Second?
Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent Mike Tyler was here this evening to discuss the issues that were going on in Pike Ave, and I think he explained everything quite well to us as counselors and also to the public.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and the vote will begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Mr. Kobus?
Yes.
Vice President Parika?
Yes.
Mr. DeLisio?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
President Cooper?
Yes.
9 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
And that concludes the business for the Public Works Committee, but I would like to call for a committee meeting at the appropriate time next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Blair.
Reporting for city property and claims. Two motions this evening. First being from the docket of April 3rd, 2018. I move to approve the request of the mayor to declare the following public works equipment as surplus for trade-in or resale value and available for disposition. 2001 Elgin Pelican Sweeper, serial number S8926S, hours 4,764 hours, in poor condition. A 1998 Mustang 2050 skid steer, serial number CH97L000, 3,806 hours, condition poor.
Second?
Thank you. Motion's in order. Council Blair, any comments?
These 2 units are in poor condition. This is the normal. They've been replaced or are in the process of being replaced.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and the vote will begin with Councilor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
Vice President Perica?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Cooper?
Yes.
9 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Secondly, from the docket of April 3rd, 2018, I move to approve the request of the mayor to declare the following water department equipment as surplus and available for disposition. Quantity 3, Halma Robicon 7.5 horsepower VFD, model number PWM 454352.00, condition obsolete.
Second?
Thank you. Motion's in order. Councilor Blair.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory, they're obsolete.
Any other questions or comments? This requires a roll call vote, and the vote will begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Cobus?
Yes.
Vice President Perica?
Yes.
Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
President Cooper?
Yes.
9 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. I have no other business this evening for city property and claims, but would request a committee meeting next week at the appropriate time.
Yes. Thank you.
Reporting for public safety and emergency management. I have one motion this evening. I move to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $26,000 from account 1-2201000-513000 via overtime to account 1291000-5130005 emergency management via overtime regarding the reserve fire engine and personnel assigned to Rehoboth Fire Station during the Wilmot Street culvert delays and funds to maintain the staffing and overtime for the additional 8 days.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Councilor Blair.
I had a conversation with the chief back yesterday morning. The total for that account, total that was spent down there for the closing and overtime for the operation of the auxiliary fire truck at the Rehoboth station in order to maintain safety for those people that were cut off, came to a total of $55,000. Another $5,000 in that was $5,000 for other buildings in town during that storm. Had some extra work. All this has already been turned into FEMA and itemized, hoping that we get some reimbursement. Do I have any other questions? Maybe I can answer from the chief? Yes.
Councilor Jackson.
Thank you. So say that again? It costs, so he's asking for 26,000, but you're telling me it costs 55,000 plus an additional 5,000? That doesn't make any sense to me.
We already passed some money.
Correct, for the emergency.
So that came to the total you asked me to get, was $55,000 total. That has been submitted to FEMA
Yep.
for reimbursement. There's also an additional 5,000, he said, that was due to the storm, was inspection of some buildings in town, for a total of $60,000 that has been sent to FEMA, hoping that we can get some reimbursement on those particular items.
So what's it, so what is this request for? What's the 20, like, I don't know what this 26,000, what's that
It's
for?
for overtime, just as it says, overtime, to keep that auxiliary truck.
But isn't the FEMA included in that overtime? Like, wasn't that?
You gotta pay it first in order to get reimbursed. So they've taken the original money that we've already transferred.
We did that through an emergency measure
Right, I
several weeks
understand
back.
that, but I
Yeah.
just didn't know where this additional 26,000 is coming from, on top of
It's
that.
coming out of the overtime
overtime.
account at the fire department.
Yeah.
And the chiefs told me there was a miscommunication, or the administration didn't understand. The first transfer, he asked to have that taken out of the overtime account at the fire department. Because evidently there's enough money in there to transfer.
So on top of the 60,000, this is an additional 26,000?
No.
Okay,
60,000 total, Council
Okay.
Jackson, from the initial emergency transfer.
so
Plus
he's
this.
refilling his overtime account, right?
No.
No, he's moving money from his overtime account into the emergency management fire overtime account.
Okay,
So that they can ask for it from,
FEMA.
and what was the total that they actually spent in the overtime as far as labor?
$55,000.
Even?
Yeah, I didn't, I told them to give me a documented copy,
Yeah.
and it might be in my box, but within dollars, it's $55,000 plus the $5,000 in overtime to inspect other buildings in town due to the storm.
Okay, any,
I have a
Council
question.
Holmes?
So, Council Blair, I know you've been in the council for a while, so how often do you feel like this happens where we have to set up a fire station in a surrounding town? Have you seen this happen a lot, or?
I haven't seen it that I can remember in the 18 years I've been here.
Okay,
But I do believe it was set up on an emergency
Yeah.
basis.
yeah,
I would assume the chief or the mayor, one of them, had the authority to call that as an emergency,
Yeah.
to protect our citizens, to give them the response time that they're due if there was an emergency. That's what emergency management, Diana, is set up to handle. And by doing it through emergency management, it gives us that avenue to seek reimbursement.
Council Jackson?
Thank you. Through to Council Holmes. I too have never heard of it before. It's the first time, and I'm grateful that we had somebody there. It's just sickening the cost that it cost us, because they had to take one of our reserve trucks that we don't use, put it over there, and unfortunately, Rehoboth is unable to house it inside, but they were gracious enough to house our firefighters and either a captain, no, I think it was a lieutenant that went over with 2 firefighters, and they housed them the whole time, which we're very, very grateful for. But I'm also grateful that their response time, because they're able to get closer to that side of Claremont Street and Pike to Slater Street, very, very grateful for that. But I can't remember it ever happening.
And just, I shouldn't do it from this seat, but I'm going to right now.
Yeah.
It was cut down, there was an incident, and it was an additional 5-minute response time than what it would have normally done, and that's why they decided to reach out, they being the administration. I don't know if it was fire chief, police chief, who did the reach out. I think it was collaborative effort to station in Rehoboth because of the additional response time to an event on that side of the city that we could not get to.
yes. Well, I think also Mr. Tyler was here earlier, and we're trying to avoid situations like this in the future. It seems like we're trying to, so I will support this.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and the vote will begin with Councilor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. DeLisio?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. Vice President Perica?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
President Cooper?
Yes.
9 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. Councilor Blair.
I have no other business this evening for public safety and emergency management. Request the committee meeting next week at the appropriate time.
Thank you. Let's do committee of the whole first. I entertain a motion to go into committee of the whole.
Second.
All those motions in order. All in favor? Aye. Is there anyone that wishes to address the council on any matter of city business?
Good evening. My name is Francis Balut, and I live at 120 Carrier Avenue in South Attleboro. And I'm here to speak under this committee as a whole for the non-compliant grates that we have over by the Boston Senior Center, and especially the one that's closest to the entrance to the Senior Center. The minimum that needs to be required to take that non-compliant grate assembly would be to fill the cavity around the tree and to bring the light up, which is over an inch low right now, up to the top level of the grate. That's the minimum. But I would like to see an improvement for the disabled people to be able to walk with a walker. And that could be done by just removing one area of bricks, which are closest to the 15-inch width of concrete that we already have. That's going toward the parking lot. Can I explain that better so that you know exactly where I am? Because you have a curb, 4 feet of grate, or you have a curb, 12 inches of brick, 4 feet of grate, another 12 inches, and then 15 inches of concrete. If we took that 12 inches of brick for that full width of the 4 feet of grate, we would be able to add, I guess, a number of inches to make it a total of 27 inches wide. And if that concrete is 27 inches wide, a person that has a walker that they're pushing in front of them can go down a non-obstructed sidewalk.
Francis, I think Councilor Jackson has a question for you.
Mr. Blue, I'm sorry to interrupt you, I apologize. But I remember this conversation happening a while back, too, a long, long time ago.
Many times.
That's
when I was working for Senator Jim Timilty, when he was at the time, our current senator. And I can remember him inviting the chairman of disabilities for the state of Massachusetts, who's in a wheelchair, and I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, and I apologize for that. But he came down to look at that. The senator had him come down, and he rode around in his wheelchair, and he thought it was fine. He said we were okay with it. I do remember that very clearly.
He was not okay with it, but to refresh your memory on that, and he did come down from the disabilities board in Boston with another friend, and at that time he did say, and this is where the ability inside here of not being able to print color, and I can dig out those papers to prove my point, and I have pictures as well which have dates on them. But what it was, when those two people came down and he looked at it and he said, no question about it, these grates, we need to bring the light, top of the light, up to the top of the grate, and that area that's around the tree itself needs to be flush with the top of the grate.
But excuse me, isn't it, it's up to them, it's up to the state to get involved in this. It's not so much the city that should be involved in this, because that's why the senator had someone from the state disabilities come down and have them actually take a look, because it was of their opinion. That's what I remember. That's what I recall.
Well,
sometimes my memory is good. Sometimes it's not so good.
And that's fine. In fact, I'd be willing to help you out. That was the kind of a situation where both Senator Ross and Senator Timilty, at the point in time, they had both looked at these great assemblies, And they said, no question about it. In fact, they shouldn't have even been here in the beginning.
But it's, so, Francis,
And we had, there was a written statement that I had made at the time, and Council Blair eventually ended up holding that and eventually striking my letter at the time.
Council Blair?
We were told, if my memory serves me correct, and I'm pretty sure it does, that met the state requirements. That's why we didn't go any further, Mr. Blue. That's why I struck it. I went through the process. Jim come down with the people from the state. They looked at it and said at that time that it met the state regulations, and that was the reason it got struck.
I don't know if they told you, but that's not what he told me.
So
all I know is we get no notification of it, Mr. Blue. I'm sure we'll look into it further.
If I may, Francis, do you have, if there was a communication between yourself and the senators that
With Tom Hopkins from the...
Okay, if you have that information, I would recommend that you bring it to our administrative assistant to be distributed to the municipal council. And if you have that and there is action that needs to be taken, then I'm quite confident that this honorable body will take that action. However, until, it is, I have faith in Councilor Blair and Councilor Jackson that the information that they have, that this area is ADA compliant. If you have something that contradicts those statements, I'd like to see it.
Yep. Thank you.
I will dig out those documents and bring them in, but I'm not going to let them out of my sight. Because instead of a
I'm sure that
letter...
Virginia would be more than enthusiastic to make a photocopy of it for all councilors.
Because in fact, you might have even remembered the day that you and I met.
We had a conversation as well, and unfortunately, I thought it was a simpler concern than what it actually turned into, and so,
You were leaving the parking lot area, and I was probably taking a picture something alongside, and I told you about these needed to be filled, and you said, I'll get right on it.
I made the
And I never
similar
heard
request
a
to
word again.
That's not accurate.
Francis, no, we're not, Francis, we're not having a debate tonight about who said, when, where, or why. You bring the concern before the council. You've made your point many times. I don't think there's anyone on this council that doesn't know that you don't like the trees and you don't like the grates in front of, we've heard it, we get it, but it's not necessarily in our wheelhouse to make the determination about the grate. That's why Councilor Jackson and Blair brought down the appropriate individuals from the state. If you have an opinion from them that's different than what we're stating here tonight, I'm happy to review that. You can bring it into Virginia, and you should send the concern to the mayor's office. He's the one that would make that determination.
Excuse me, they didn't bring them down from the state. What happened there, at the time, the mission, this is additional information that you may not know, but the director of the Larson Senior Center, at the time, their mission was that if anybody downstairs wanted to come up, attend a board meeting, and bring up a subject, they could. And I did. And their mission has now since changed. They don't invite people up to their board meetings anymore. But at that time, I had brought up the issue if they would support by contacting the Tom Hopkins from that board, disability board, that would like them to come down here, and an appointment was made for him to come down here and to review the various grates within the city. And I was with him, and we walked from here at least down to the arch. And there was a number of grates that were non-compliant at the time.
So I have yet to see anything from anyone. I've been here for 7 years.
This goes years back, and there's a lot of history to it.
And I have yet to see anything from the state and that says that those sidewalks are non-compliant. But if you have something, like I said, I'm happy to review it. You should send it to, you can send it to my attention. I'll get it to all the councilors, and you should send a copy to the mayor. But I find it hard to believe that Senator Timilty and/or Ross would let it go unnoticed that there was an issue with an ADA compliance with sidewalks in the city. So thank you.
Senator Timilty, after he had looked at it, and he said, well, I'll get back to you in a couple of days, because I know some people over at City Hall. And I said, okay. Well, a week went by, and there was nothing there. So I called back, and I actually ended up speaking to Rob, which was Timothy's right-hand man. And he said, well, you know, I really want to keep the friendship that we have at City Hall, so nothing was done. So it's who you know, not what you know.
Thank you for your comments, Francis. And like I said, send me the note, and I will send me what you have, and I will look into it, and also send it to the mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would entertain a motion to arise.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. We are moving on to, there is no old business, but there is 2 items of new business.
I'll be super quick, I promise.
No, I said arise. I actually stood up.
I was feeling it. May I proceed?
Yes, you may,
Thank you.
Council Preca.
From the
Thank you.
docket of April 20th, 2018, I move to refer the following matters to the appropriate committee for study and recommendation to install a stop sign on Steeplechase Circle at Bishop Street.
Second.
Thank you. Council Preca, it is April 17th on my...
Oh, and you know what? My other piece had the same. My apologies.
Wait till next week.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Council Preca.
This was just a request, a constituent request, so I put it forward as new business.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions, or comments? Hearing none, this requires a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. Refer that to Transportation and Traffic.
Yes,
and,
please.
Would you like to refer that also to Traffic Study Commission for study and recommendation?
Yes, please.
Sorry. Second. Council Jackson, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes.
I'm trying to go so fast that I'm making mistakes. I'm so sorry. From the docket of April 17th, 2018, I move to refer the following matter to the appropriate committee for study and recommendation to reduce the speed from 40 miles an hour to 30 miles per hour on County Street in the area of 721 County. Additionally, research whether truck traffic can be limited on County Street.
Second.
Thank you. A motion is in order. Council Preca.
Thank you. Again, this was a constituent concern. We did receive this in other communications 2 weeks ago. I believe it was actually a communication to Councilor Cooper from one of his constituents, so we'll put it forward and see what we can do about that.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing, this does require a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. We'll refer that to Transportation and Traffic, and would you like to refer that to Traffic Study Commission as well?
Yes, please.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We're adjourned 7:58.
Go Ages.